Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J. Alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
So I guess I'm 2-0, right?
Yes,
Is it 2-0? Two?
two-so winning streak.
Look at that. Beginning of the streak, baby.
Yes, just another 21 and 21 more to go. And of course, the American Scooter Dust, who is not here. We should be getting him back very soon. From obviously spontaneous combustion. Got to put the pieces back together. Alright, it was a good week for Wrestling Wit as we interviewed on Tuesday Yacarelli the Don. Incredible guy, incredible interview. Um, the guy had a conversation with Stu Hart, had a relationship with the Hart family. Finally getting in the ring now. Really excited to see what he could do in reality of wrestling and beyond. And speaking of promotions, Capital Championship Wrestling on Wednesday, we interviewed Marcello Squirewell. Incredible interview. We talk all things CCW, his time in the ring as Black Ice, and just a really fun conversation with a cool guy. If you want to know more about CCW, definitely go in the archives and listen to that. And that brings us up to December, and everything is already confirmed for December. Every single interview. This upcoming Tuesday, we got Titan Troy from the FCW family. If you're fans of our interviews with Bronx Boulder and Sir Bubbles, um, Troy is a tag team with Bronx, so you definitely want to listen to him. An interesting and fun interview with a great guy. That's definitely going to come up soon. And somebody that's already there on Wednesday, from Planet Williams, Aaron Williams, a staple of Ohio wrestling. Incredible interview, incredible guy. You're gonna find out some really fun facts about the guy and who he replaced at a very notorious and famous wrestling school. All that and more. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips. Who would be three people in your movie, and who would play them? I feel like Bronx has to be one of them, right?
Brox would definitely be in it. And I don't know who would play him. Oh man. Just for comedy, and also just so I can have him yell at me later, make it Danny DeVito. I'm waiting for that remark by him. I'm gonna love it. And
I don't know if you've watched the show at all, but um, there's like so many cool little side characters, but of course the main characters are what people usually stay around for. Bob and Linda and Tina and Jean and Louise are like the main five characters, the Belcher family.
Yeah.
And I really I feel Bob. Like Bob is easily my favorite character, and I just feel him. Like I see his like trials and his tribulations, just of like how he deals with stuff, and he just loves making burgers so much. He loves cooking, and he just wants his restaurant to be a success so bad, and he really doesn't know why it's not, but it's not, and he's just struggling, and he's just trying to make it work. And I feel that I really do, and I think I understand Bob, so I love it because because I too am a person who just fell in love with a thing, and I have a passion for it, and I just want to do well at it, and I just want it to be great, and I'll do anything to make that happen. And maybe to some people, I should be at a further place than where I am, and maybe some people are fine with where I'm at. Um, but I know that I have a lot to give, just like Bob feels. Bob feels like he makes these burgers, and he puts all this passion and all this creativity behind it, and he just wants people to have his burgers. That's it. He just wants people to enjoy his burgers, and I just want people to enjoy my wrestling. So I'm like, yeah, man, I get you, dude.
I love how you brought it right back around to wrestling. Alright, the week after that, the 13th and 14th, we got Che Long and Shady Nitrous. The 20th and 21st, we have Dr. Cool, Jay Clang, and Riley Rocket. And then on the 27th, we have Jay George, and on the 28th, we have Lilith and Alexander Crowley. So all month long interviews from Wrestling Wit. Um, Go to our Twitter page at WrestlingWithE for more information on all of that. All right, I think we're done putting ourselves over, right, Kaliko? Okay.
We should keep going. Let's keep going for ourselves over.
And it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. I think maybe the biggest news coming out this week is that William Regal, whether or not his contract is up, he's leaving AEW. It seemed blatantly obvious last week, and I just feel like this week was a little bit more redundant in that aspect. But what are your thoughts on William Regal leaving AEW for WWE?
Um, well, they all gotta come home at some point, right? It's weird because I mean, it's Triple H bringing back his guys, right? That's what it is. And everyone knew William Regal was like, if Shawn Michaels was the left, William Regal was the right. So it only made sense. So it's called the Triple H. What's it?
Oh, it does beg the question if AEW did a better job with William Regal, would there have been any potential of him actually staying with AEW? Like these guys, they're using me, they're respecting me. All we really know from William Regal in his time at AEW was his on-camera role, and while yes, it was great shit. Um, William Regal's the kind of guy you want backstage. I feel, mentoring your guys, getting new guys, putting other guys over in a different capacity. If we're just playing spectating here, could have AEW done anything to save William Regal?
AEW culture, right? One is going to be
You're breaking up.
going to go back to a culture he knew. We're rolling through bad signal. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There you go. So AEW, the culture is the culture, right? So it wasn't like he was going to change it. So why not go back to something he was more comfortable with anyway, with the backstage psychology role person. And I think that's what AEW is going to miss more than the on character part, because I think William Regal's done with being a character. I think he just wants to do the backstage stuff.
I agree. And as much as I love seeing William Regal on my TV, you know, him promoting the next generation of wrestlers is more important, right?
Always giving back to the business. Isn't that what the name of the game?
Yes, that is Triple H's. Um, Another guy, um, on Thursday, Eric Young was stabbed to death by Cody Dean. So that means he's definitely coming back to WWE, right?
Sanity reunion, maybe?
Well, they would have to get the bear-looking guy back, and the wolf-named guy back, and then yeah, I guess Sanity.
Yeah, Alexander. Yeah.
But then you cross there's a line because Wolf was a part of Imperium, and do you put him back with Imperium or do you put him back with um, Sanity? Does anybody care about Sanity in 2022?
I think they'll probably care about Eric Young. Sanity, not so much.
Well, I feel like Eric Young is definitely, you know, what's the word? Underrated in his work, and he's been doing great shit in Impact. But just because you do great shit in Impact, that doesn't necessarily mean that it would translate to something doing great shit in WWE. Depending on how they book him, do you see Eric Young being anything significant in WWE, or is he running for the 24/7 championship again?
Um, it just depends because the way we consider booking is booking strong rather than making sure that the character is important. And that's more important than trying to be over, right? Making sure that the character plays a part uh, in the ongoing stories.
I think we're gonna get the funny Eric Young or the serious I just got stabbed Eric Young.
Depends. If they put him with Bray, it might be serious.
Ooh. You think that they put him with Bray?
I would think he would need to be under some tutelage, right? Especially if he's coming back.
Hmm. Well, definitely gotta hand it to Impact for killing another one of their superstars off. Seems to be a trend in some degree. Alright, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had his return match. He teamed with FTR to take on Jay Lethal uh, and Brick Anderson, Rock Anderson, and another guy that I don't remember. Um, I'm curious. Did you see the match? I didn't see the match.
I didn't, but I would pray that he's good because he's the one guy who hasn't been wrestling every week and actually kind of like stayed out of the background so his body is not as bad. So if anything, it's ring rust. But I think he'll be okay.
You think that there's a potential for an AEW debut or a return to WWE for that one more match with the Dragon, or was this maybe just a one-time money grab by the Dragon?
I think it's one time because when you think his last match, it was Jericho. Jericho, that match that was the last one.
Hmm.
all roads point to W. If you had your last match in WWE, that's your last match. I don't care who say what. That was your last match.
Well, I think Ric Flair would make the difference, but then again, he's thinking about having a one more last match.
The last match to the last match.
The last match part two.
He's starting to get Terry Funkish.
Yep, yep. Well, my thing is, if he's able to do it, the Dragon, not Ric Flair. Ric Flair obviously showed that he can't do it anymore. Um, if the Dragon can do it because he's physically able, could put some guys over, still look good, then why not have a couple matches? So you still got it. You're still up there. You're still the Dragon. It's just it doesn't. It's just when to the point when it gets sad is the time when it should stop, right? It should never get to the
Yeah, but
Ric
I
Flair
would have
match at
thought.
that point.
I mean, I would have thought like if they had attacked his son or something, then he would come in. It had to be something like a meaning for him to come back, right? That's why I would like when I want to see old wrestlers come back. I want to see them come back because they got cornered into no other choice but coming back.
Well, I believe his son doesn't wrestle anymore.
I know. That's why I said I wish it was more with his son than
Yeah.
him just coming back.
Well, speaking of another return, uh, this Friday, well, yesterday, Tegan Knox made her return to WWE TV on SmackDown. The only thing I can really say about Tegan is protect those knees, Wolf. Kaliko?
Man, you ain't lying. I swear, like ACLs, man. But it's weird. It's just she tore both them bad boys. I'm trying to figure out how, and it's a bad string of luck. So she gonna be Stone Cold Steve Austin and with those knee braces.
Now, when she first came to WWE, they had high, high hopes for this girl. And obviously she got injured, and then she came back, they had higher hopes, she got injured again. Um, and then after that, things just kind of soured on her to where she was a mid card girl. Does Tegan Knox add any value to WWE, or is she gonna fall to the wayside once again?
If it was Vince, fall to the wayside. If it's Triple H, they're gonna. I think they're gonna give her a little time to build herself up, right? To show the dependability and the availability. Then she'll be a solid mid card, upper card type of girl. So we'll see where it goes.
And
But first, let's see how she does with the knee. That's the first thing.
right, obviously you're starting her off in a wait and see type scenario because you want to wait and see if she is, and I don't want to say this about anybody, if she's injury prone. Um, but could you trust the Tegan Knox for a title? Would you believe her as your women's champion?
Built up over a year. Why not?
Well, I mean, you
I mean,
said
keep in mind the quickest way for her to get that credibility is either winning the Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. If they really had that much of a high hope for her, right?
Well, I mean, you said, if it was Vince, she'd just fall to the wayside. With with Triple H in charge, there might be some, chance of her getting up there. But you do realize that she was a part of NXT, which was primarily ran by Triple H at that time, and that's the scenario of her falling to the wayside is exactly what happened during the Triple H NXT regime. So, I mean, what are you what does Triple H have to see in her this time around to say, oh, she's not going to fall to the wayside? It's going to be okay this time. I personally wouldn't see it, but do you see something else there?
First, let's be happy she even is able to get back in the ring, and then we'll worry about that. Give her a couple matches with like a Emma or a Dana Brooke to test it out, and because that's what we care about. And plus, her getting out of her own head.
Right. Do you feel like the women's roster on Raw is maybe stronger than the women's roster on SmackDown?
You can make that argument, but I think when Charlotte comes back to SmackDown, kind of balances. Because I don't count Bailey or Damage Control as Raw. I just consider them tweeners. But
Right.
that's where I think the balance comes from. But if you're thinking girl for girl without Damage Control, yeah, Raw's mad stronger.
And I mean, obviously Mia Yim adds to that because Mia Yim's a big get. She's obviously knows what she's doing in there, and you could put a title on her, and nobody would be surprised. Um, then you have the girls that came back for SmackDown, Emma and Emma, and I don't feel, and obviously Tegan. I don't feel like that balances the scales having those two girls there. Obviously, when Charlotte it comes back, she's going to run that town, but then again, when has she not?
True, but I also think Emma coming back to me is a bigger deal because you know how I am. I ride or die with Emma, baby. Ride
Yes.
or die.
All right. On to another piece of news. Bobby Roode revealed that he had neck infusion surgery. Obviously, he's not going to be around for a while. And could that not, I'm not saying any injury is good, but could that necessarily be a good thing for his career? Because when he comes back, he could kind of be the Bobby Roode we got in NXT.
Well, we gotta see how the neck goes, right? Because when I think neck fusion, I think Kurt Angle, and we see how that goes. So let's just make sure that it's okay long term than anything. But I mean, I don't think we'll ever get. I mean, unless Triple H wants to use this time, him being out to have him come back as that Bobby Roode, I don't see it happening.
Hmm. I mean, yes, yes, Kurt Angle, neck infusion surgery. Also adds some called Page all had infusion surgery on them, and Sting. And, they were able to come back to the ring. So, I mean, I would have hopes that he would be able to come back to the ring. I don't think that would be the issue. But you kind of feel like it might be time to call it for Bobby. Alright. Uh, Another guy that might be out for a while, Randy Orton. Oh, could we see Randy Orton back in the ring, or is it maybe time for him to hang it up? Did we lose Kaliko? Was Kaliko here to begin with? Yep.
For me,
Yes.
better than none of me. I'll take it.
So
For
Randy
me, if
Orton,
I'm here twice, that counts as three.
um, Randy Orton had successful back surgery. Um, you know, I feel like the back surgery is maybe more of a wrestler killer than the neck surgeries at this point. Could we see Randy Orton back, or is it time to call it for him?
You mean all them damn coffin drops finally coughed up with him? Get it? Didn't. Anyway.
You talking about
Um,
Darby Allin?
yes. Right?
No, we're talking about Randy Orton.
Oh man, I thought you, man. Well, Randy, oh gosh. See, that's what happens when you're offline. Anyways, Randy, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's about that time. It's been what 20 years. So, and when you think about it, the back takes the most. I mean, I would think the back, the upper back, the bottom, pretty much the whole back takes everything, right?
Right.
Because that's the biggest surface area. So, and think of him, and everybody thinks of him as the most durable guy, like, or the most consistent guy, because everybody else was gone and he's there. So the body is tending to take its toll. So, um, would I like to see Randy back? Yes, but
Who wouldn't?
not at the detriment of his back, right?
Right. Well, it seems like another guy that's finished. Not because injury wise, CM Punk. It says it's reported, rumor and innuendo, whatever you want to call it. That he's more or less done with AEW. He's just waiting for them to call it. He is still under contract. He is still getting paid by them. Um, he's waiting for them to release him. I don't know what AEW is gonna do. What should AEW do in this predicament? Do you try to get CM Punk to negotiate? Do you try? Do you just give him what he wants? What do you do at this point?
Um, he can go back. He can't go back. He can't. So that's one. Two, the rumor is that they're holding him until after WrestleMania season, because the one rumor was that he was an entrant in the Royal Rumble, which I doubt. I just think he's just out on wrestling now at this point. If to me, like I said, he was better off. He was better off just staying away. But now he's back and it's tarnished whatever myth of of what he had. I mean, Punk is Beowulf at this point, but I mean, just wait on AEW. I mean, it ain't like he's gonna go to Ring of Honor or Impact or New Japan or WWE, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, he can.
He can, but based on the landscape, would he? I mean, WWE is ran by the one person he hated.
Oh,
Now,
I mean, all roads lead back to WWE. I mean, we didn't think Bruno Sammartino or the Ultimate Warrior would come back to WWE. They did, and who was the guy that orchestrated that? It was Triple H.
yeah,
So,
but those were two people that Triple H really didn't have beef with. This is a person he personally has beef with.
true, but
Doesn't make it. It is easy to tell the rub things over when you ain't involved in it, but it's a whole different animal for you to put your ego aside. Now, what could he? I'm not gonna knock it. but it seems highly unlikely.
I could make the argument that he could try, and he would try if he knew that it would be good for business.
What business would it be good for? Because Punk will mess around and be like, I want to come back and kill the bloodline.
No, I mean the pitch is go into the Hall of Fame, wrestle Stone Cold. Cold. That's what I feel.
No, no. Go into the Hall of Fame, main event WrestleMania. That's Punk's MO. Main event WrestleMania for the title, win it, go into Fame, drop it the next night. I feel like that's Punk's MO.
And I don't think that well, obviously WWE would do that. Um, but I feel like if you say, "Hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin is interested in wrestling you at WrestleMania, main event of night one, we'll give you X amount of dollars. You want to do it?" I don't see why he wouldn't. If especially if it's just a one-off, and treat it as a one-off, and whatever happens after that happens.
They use that shot in the chamber for Kevin Owens, homie. It's a wrap.
Not true. I mean, Stone Cold said that he would be interested if to do another match, and that he would, if it was the right time, right place, right number, he'd do it. He's just waiting for the call. So, and I can't imagine Stone Cold wouldn't be interested in fighting CM Punk as well. The thing of it is,
Yeah, but
this has always just been a dream match between CM Punk and Stone Cold, a fantasy. But in 2022, going into 2023, there is literally this is literally the biggest opportunity and that this could actually take place. It could actually happen if everything goes right.
y'all said the same thing about Taker and Sting, and look what y'all ended up with.
Yeah, because Seth Rollins
Hey,
basically crippled Sting months before WrestleMania.
Sting crippled Sting, so Rollins being crippled Sting.
That fucking buckle bomb broke his back.
And Sting admitted he didn't tuck his chin in. So whose fault is that?
All right. Um. All right. I think that will conclude the news for this week, and a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Survivor Series review. It took place last Saturday, and needless to say, it was another WWE PLE that just hit right. Which one hasn't at this point? Um, I don't know. It was just I enjoyed the event. Even though it was the War Games match rather than the traditional 5-on-5 matches, I enjoyed the show top to bottom. What say you, Kaliko?
Honestly, it broke up the monotony of that 5-on-5 match and actually put like stories in it. And I'm here. As you can hear, I'm here.
Well, it took place, like I said, on November 26th, in Boston, Massachusetts, TD Garden. 15,609. That number is disputed as of this recording. Um, and let's get into it. Team Belair, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Michigan Mia Yim Yim, and Becky Lynch defeated Damage Control.
Mention me again. Not Michigan. You got me thinking Michigan is Michigan.
It's Michigan, yeah. Uh,
Or it's okay. Alright, Michigan. Yeah.
on the other side, we got Damage Control, uh, Io Sky, and on that farm we had Dakota Kai, Io Sky, with a ding dong there, Bailey's there, everywhere, Rhea Ripley's here, Nikki Cross is there. They lost in 39 minutes and 40 seconds. What did you think of the first four games to open this PLE? I thought it was solid. Um, Nothing crazy happened, but still good.
It was solid. A lot of stutter steps, but it's expected when you kind of put. Because really, the War Games matches were Damage Control, Belair, Asuka, and Bliss, right? They just threw the other two in there just cause. I mean, you could have made an argument for Becky Lynch to be in there, but then it would be a handicap match. So it kind of like, hey, let's put these other two people in here that's got nothing to do with this feud, which kind of made it seem like this, right?
Well, I mean, it kind of plays into the rivalry with the Bullet Club and Judgment Day because Yim and Rhea. So I mean, I could understand. Okay, they're finishing their feud in the biggest way possible. But yeah, Becky and Cross were just thrown in there.
Yeah, and that's where I was going because I think I had Damage Control winning, uh, which I was wrong, but all in all, it was a good match.
You think it's already time to pull the plug on Damage Control?
Well, that's the thing because Bailey's basically the halo for Damage Control, so no one's really gonna say Bailey's finished or Bailey's not over. So that's where it saves her, unlike Judgment Day. There's no Teflon person, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they haven't made the impact that they could have been. They could have had. It just seems like they're just taking L's to take L's at this point, rather than being, a destructive force that runs the women's division.
Well, the point was never for them to run. I can make the argument it was never meant to run the women's division as so much to be a nuisance. Because you see what happens when you have a faction run the whole men's division.
Sure. Alright, how many stars do you give this one?
I'd give it 4 because of the story and Becky being back.
I give it 3.5, just because I don't really feel like there was anything super memorable about it. I mean, it was a good match, but nothing's going to make me say, okay, I'm going to back to watch this match because of dot dot dot. And that's basically the reason for the half a star. Alright. AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor in 18 minutes and 25 seconds. When you have Finn Balor and AJ Styles in a match, how could it be a bad match? And it wasn't. It was everything you probably could expect and more. Um, just an incredible match. What are your thoughts, Kaliko?
Yeah, I agree. Because of the fact that, they never really fought each other a lot. So that was one. Plus, this is, you know, two Bullet Club guys, which is what the marks are thinking. So it was good chemistry, great match. AJ won, of course, and that's all you can say about it. It was a solid match, solid match.
Alright, how many stars you give this one?
A solid 4.
I give it 4.5 because I just liked it.
Hey, good match.
Alright, Ronda Rousey defeated Shotzi by submission to retain the SmackDown Women's
Next,
Championship.
next, next, next. No diss to Shanti. She's the best. Love her, but I mean, they didn't give her the fighting chance. I mean, they gave her the fighting chance, but really, really.
True, but I mean, if this went any longer, it would have been a clusterfuck of what the fuck. I
That's what
felt
I'm saying. It was like cuss his last name. That's what it was.
right. I mean, I feel like they kind of hit the sweet spot with Ronda, where they know that she's not capable of going over 5 minutes, essentially. So they keep it short. They know what she can do, and they exploit it. And I think that obviously it's not a memorable match, but it wasn't necessarily a bad match, and it could have been a whole lot worse if they tried to do something stupid with her. No?
But you also got to think about it. Like this is what really year. I want to say year 2 Rousey, right? 'Cause
Right.
we keep forgetting. Like she's been in 3 years, but she's really only wrestled 2. And how much experience do you expect to gain in 2 years? You see what I'm saying? So I try to give Ronda that grace because it's not like it's not like she was in the Indies, came in and she's just all bad. She came in straight from out. I mean, you can make an argument she came from the street and just like started wrestling, right?
More
So
or less.
so that's why I give her the grace. So everybody can say she's horrible. I'm like, dude, it's only been 2 years. It's not like a Charlotte or you know what I mean, where they
Right.
have the extensive training.
I mean, she's not. Nobody is Charlotte. So yeah. Um, Interesting side note here. Brian Kendricks was brought in as a producer specifically for this match by request of Ronda Rousey herself. Um, is that a smart move by Ronda to have the guy that trains you know what you're capable of doing, what produce your match? And should WWE essentially keep him in that role, or because this was a one-time thing, it was a one-off at this point. Um,
I mean, it was a one-off, but I mean, I, at least it was. I mean, Brian Kendrick's a smart brain, so why wouldn't they? Right? Like, now the
I
question is, could it be repetitive? That I don't think so, because eventually Ronda's going to be going against people who can actually lead in the ring, right?
right,
I mean, that would be good if she was going against a Shotzi. Who else? I mean,
Liv, Tegan,
yeah, Liv, borderline, Tegan, not really. But, like a Natalia is going to be a general. A Natalia's a general. Emma is a damn general. A goddamn, so, I could think of 10 other women who are generals. I could see it if it was against, like, what's her name? Not Naomi, but the other one.
Cameron.
Yes.
Cameron's not even there.
I'm just naming tiers of women
Right,
that would need that assistance. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm not saying that they're there, but what I'm saying is that's the caliber of women or experience that you would expect from,
right,
to have people like that.
right.
So,
Uh, the fourth match in on the actually, how many stars you give Ronda and Shotzi?
really? Are we going to star this?
We'll start it.
Two.
I give it 2.5, simply because they knew what they had and they took advantage of it, which isn't a bad.
Half a star for half a star for knowing the assignment.
All right, Dreep, 3 stars.
Jesus, you're gonna give him half. Don't give him half credit. Give him the whole damn thing.
All right, fine, 3 stars, 3 stars. All right, Austin Theory defeated Seth freaking Rollins and Bobby Lashley in 14 minutes and 50 seconds to become your new United States champion. And you even texted me after the match. I called this, which you did.
Uh, shall I gloat?
Take your gloat. It's fine.
All right. All right. So, what James and Scooter failed to mention is anytime people do a new transformation, the only way you can actually take people the new transformation is if they do something, i.e., memorable in your eyes to make you either A, love them or make you B, hate them. And what better way than they already infuriate and put a gasoline fire on top of the flames of hate for Austin Theory than having him be not only Bobby Lashley, who was at one point the WWE champion, but Seth frickin' Rollins, who is basically like WWE's cult favorite icon. That was why I said Theory should have been the winner, because that, even though the match itself, was it the 5 star? No. But the moment of Austin Theory beating Seth Rollins pisses more people off than anything else I could think of.
Well, I mean, it was
That
close.
was why.
I mean,
That was why.
it was close to a 5-star match. I mean, whenever you have Seth Rollins and even Bobby Lashley at this matter, in a
I mean,
match,
Lashley's at this point. He's capable. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, maybe 2, 3 years ago, no, now yes, but
Yeah.
it was a great match. These guys tore the house down. Maybe the second best match of the night. Uh,
Yes.
and yeah, I
Easily the
can't
second
say
best match of the night.
I can't see a bad thing about it. Obviously, other than Theory actually winning.
I told you it because it's about the perception. Because here's the thing: if Theory went through all of that, like physical, the psycho, because it's the psychological change, right?
Right,
This isn't him going from face to heel and then losing and like trying to figure out what he should do. This was him going from a chicken shit heel to a very serious heel. And when Bobby Lashley came out and he didn't run, that's when I was like, oh yeah, he's dead ass serious. Because the old Austin Theory would have ran, and even in him losing at the match at SummerSlam to Bobby Lashley, might I add, I always had the nuggets like, damn, this dude could literally like he could actually go, he could actually like be serious if given the chance, and sure as shit he got the psychological change and got the chance. And now it's paid off. So now people are more invested in watching him lose because they beat his favorite. Does that make sense?
right.
That's where the psychology is. The psychology is not in the sense of, you know, not even him. Yeah, they're pissed. They're pissed he won the match. They're pissed. They're even more pissed he beat Seth Rollins.
Yes. And it was
So
essentially
that's
on like a whim slash fluke scenario.
right. Which I mean, and Seth said it himself. You can't get mad at that because he took advantage. It's just that I think they underestimated Theory. Both of them underestimated Theory.
Speaking of Seth Rollins, what did you think about that lingerie he wore on Raw?
It's he's the
You can't say that was a suit.
I I you know I guess he's the type of guy who could get away with it because he's the guy who how can I put it?
I think I
People
have you
he's
speechless.
he no, he's the cultish guy, right? He's the guy that no matter what happens or what he does, people are gonna follow it, right? I mean, granted, he stole that from Nikki Bella, but I mean, straight stole. But I mean, he's the type, but he's at that point in his character where he dresses to psychologically fuck the opponent before the match even starts. Does it make sense?
Okay,
Like he kind of does that shit to get under the skin. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like when he was fucking with Cody, he came out with the Dusty outfit. When he was wrestling Roman, he literally put on the Shield outfit. When he had, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it's not out of the character. You see what I'm saying?
So was he trying to seduce Theory on Raw? Seduce him and giving him another title match?
Who knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe Theory had a one night stand with a girl in that outfit, and he, I, I, I couldn't tell you for shit. But I just know that that's usually like his thing. He's the quote unquote drip god. And I don't know about that, but
Well,
no one's gonna really question him about it because, he's Seth Rollins.
he may have stolen the outfit from Nikki Bella, but who wore it better?
Obviously Bella. Shit. Duh.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Alright, next match, the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, defeated the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Rich Holland, Butch, and Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens in a War Games match in 38 minutes and 30 seconds. Kind of stuff. It seemed like the men were, but actually no, it was roughly the same amount of time, give or take 2 minutes. Um, Honestly, it was a good match. It told a story that they needed to tell, and obviously the bloodline isn't going anywhere right this second. Um, what are your thoughts on the match?
I was wrong. The
You
traitor
could
is
be
not
wrong.
Jay. The traitor is not gonna be Jay. It's gonna be fucking Solo. It's fucking Solo.
You think
It's
Solo
Solo.
would? You think a guy named Solo would betray his family?
Yeah, well, the fun thing is, it was crazy because it threw me off. Like, when everyone threw up the ones, he didn't throw the one up. Then on Raw, they tried to do the hug, and he was just about the hug, and Kevin Owens came out. It's fucking Solo. I was done. I should have saw it coming.
I mean, isn't it saying that's the betrayal?
I mean, it's him. He's the guy.
Well,
And,
before
and you know, and it makes sense because it's like, out of everybody else, you have an explanation of why they are there. You really don't have it with Solo.
you're not entirely wrong. The fact they said that the family sent him to help Roman, and that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The rest of them you get.
Really quick before we continue with this, Gary, Rollins, and Lashley, how many stars do you give that one?
Five, easy, five.
I give it four.
Five, because I was right. I give myself credit.
Okay. Uh, so I mean, again, it was a good match. It's telling us it, but it kind of feels like they were telling more of the story of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens that are obviously going to wrestle the Usos at WrestleMania, rather than the story of Roman doing literally anything. Is that maybe a mistake on WWE's part to, obviously your champion has to do something, and he was maybe not the vocal point of this match. How do you feel about that?
I think it is the point of the the beginning of the downfall of every great king. Because every great king thinks that it should just be autopilot just because, right? Like no one really. it's because it's me and I'm the man and I'm the champion and I should and it should be this way and it's kind of like a royalty thing and once that royalty ain't roiling, that's when it starts to downfall. Right now, he's not going to be the focal point because now it's about building up the story of who's going to betray him. Because right now he's just the overlord, right? But eventually the overlord's going to come down and he's got to get struck. But the point of getting struck is not to see it coming. And right now he's so on cruise control that do you really think he sees it coming?
I mean, it doesn't seem like he feels Sami Zayn is going to betray him. Or if he does, it's going to be, you know, it's more expected than not expected, I would think anyway.
But do you think Roman sees him as a threat or more as his jester?
More of his gesture for sure.
Exactly.
But I
And
mean,
he doesn't even and the reason I think it's Solo because he's just thinking, oh, that's just family. They just gonna fall in line. Granted, Jimmy and Jay had no choice in the matter because they got whooped into it. Solo really didn't get whooped into anything. So that's why I was like, okay, Sammy wants to be there, so he wouldn't do it. Jimmy and Jay kind of got forced by hand to be there, but they fell in line eventually. Solo's like, yeah, I haven't spoken to him in years. Other than and they planned it the season it would be Jay. But I mean, Jay could be the callus, but I think Solo might be it. Solo has to be it. Which by Solo being the guy, it puts Sammy in a bind, right? Because Sammy and Solo are kind of tight,
right,
or as it seems to fit, right?
right.
So it wouldn't be the brothers because the brothers are brothers in a sense.
So the brothers are brothers in a sense.
Yes. The brothers are brothers, so I think they're twins. One's not gonna do without the other. Even
Yeah,
because even when Jimmy was like, "Fuck that," Jay eventually told him to come on home. Right?
right.
Solo doesn't really. I mean, yeah, I think they're brothers. Yeah, they're all brothers, but Solo doesn't have
He's not
that
a twin,
connection to Roman like they do.
and he's not a twin.
Yeah, and he's not a twin.
And I could make the argument Solo could see himself, he's next to the castle, he's next to the king, why can't I take the crown?
Especially considering everyone's got gold except him.
Very true. Well, Sammy doesn't have gold.
I'm talking. Yeah, I mean, as far as the family, not. I mean,
Could maybe Sammy be the one that orchestrates to Solo? Hey, you don't, you don't have gold. You're right next to Roman. You could take what you want, essentially. He is called the master strategist.
but so something's got to happen for Sammy because I guess the rumor is Sammy's supposed to team with Owens to beat the Usos because somebody's got to beat the Usos. So the question is, what would be the catalyst for Sammy to leave?
The titles. I could
The
make the
time? No,
argument.
no.
I could make the argument that this was the plan for Sammy from day one, was to betray them, was to
I,
gain the
I,
long game.
I, uh, why would he betray the titles when he's closer to the titles now than he's ever been? He's closer to that championship now being the jester than he ever was as a competitor.
True, but
So
he's not getting Roman.
yeah, he ain't gonna get ain't nobody getting Roman. God, at this
But
point, I
he
don't know
could
who the fuck's going.
maybe orchestrate Solo into getting the title from Roman, and then say, "I got first shot when you beat Roman." That's an option.
But I wouldn't think he would do something that deep. That's too deep. I think it would be. I think it would be solo getting solo lead because at this point he's kind of like fuck it, and Sammy being forced to choose unless Sammy gets kicked out by Roman unexpectedly, causing Solo to be pissed.
Hmm.
That's a possibility.
What would you? How would you rate them? What were your thoughts on the match itself? Because it was honestly nothing, out of the usual. It just told the story of Sammy and Owens more than anything.
I think the story, the bloodline is perfect in its sense. So the telling of the story, eventually them coming cohesive. I think this is the song that they're up for me before the break.
Hmm. All right. Um, how many stars would you give this one?
Uh, four. I give it 4.5, just because of the fact that it was more about the bloodline so much than it was about the other side.
Yeah, I give it 4. Just solid match, good story, definitely investable. Just not with what you thought you was investing in.
Well, you kind of knew what you were investing in. It was just a sense of, because the story. You know what was crazy? The story going into the match wasn't even about the War Games match more than it was about is Sammy or Jay gonna betray the group.
Right, but I mean, I felt like we would have gotten some type of, you know, challenger for Roman out of this, or something that.
Out.
I mean, he's your world champion, and he was kind of in the background for this.
Well, the only way you would have a definitive challenger is if you had him actually get pinned, right? New Japan style, right? I pinned you, therefore I should be the challenger.
Not
But
necessarily, but so.
I don't expect that to happen until Mania season
Well, he has to
because
defend it. He has to.
at this point, do you think he's gonna? He's not losing that belt anytime soon. I mean, the next match isn't until the Royal Rumble, and that's where they got the issue on their hands because it's like, okay, are you splitting this thing up, or are we gonna? You just gonna split the belts up, or are we gonna just
Right.
keep this thing moving?
I think that's the only issue that they have right now is who is gonna wrestle Roman at Rumble, and whether or not The Rock is gonna be the challenger at Mania, because they said nothing is set in stone. Um, in that regards, and obviously that's correct because The Rock is The Rock, and he has other things that he has to do, and obviously Cody's an option for Mania. At this point, I don't think Bray is an option. I wouldn't put Bray in there with Roman. It would just fall flat on its face. Um,
True.
so I mean, the only thing stopping Cody is The Rock at this point.
But so Cody gets springboarded to Mania, to main event Mania, uh, just for Roman to beat him. Because the question is, do you think Cody's gonna win?
I feel like he has to win.
Really?
Roman has to lose it at some point, and it has. We're at the point that he's been champion for over 2 years. He's been through everybody. Could you really? He has to lose it at WrestleMania. If he doesn't lose it at WrestleMania 39, the only viable option is WrestleMania 40. And do you really see people being invested and interested in Roman for at least one more year?
I have a scenario that Cody doesn't win the Royal Rumble, yet wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and cashes it in LA.
That's an option for sure.
I feel like Roman losing straight up is the corner they put themselves in is that him being losing straight up is a less and less viable option, more so than him getting caught slipping.
True. Well, I mean,
So
it would have to
I
be
mean,
something, some cracks in the bloodline at that point. Whether it be Sammy or Solo betraying the bloodline.
yeah, we could. But then I don't know. I think the betrayal part would have to be Heyman. Heyman's got to do something because it can't just be. It just can't be. Oh yeah, they just did. I think Heyman would have to be instrumental in it. To me, it would have to be. If you're gonna blow this bitch up, blow the bitch all the way up, right? Like don't half-ass it,
Well,
whole ass it. At least in my theory.
well, we will definitely see how that goes as we get closer to it. This show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs up. I mean, as much as people can say that the TV portion is dull from time to time, you gotta give Triple H credit. He makes these stories hit home at the fucking PLE. I can't knock it.
Neither can I. I give it a thumbs up as well. Great job. Alright. That will conclude our coverage of WWE Survivor Series and this show as a whole. Obviously, thank you for listening. Join us this Tuesday and Wednesday for the Tegan Troy and Aaron Williams. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, and hashtag listeners about your power energy and feel productive. Follow the show at Wrestling with E. We're on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and a whole lot more. And on Instagram at Wrestling with E as well. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
And I am Kaliko. And hurry before Twitter blows up.
And obviously follow Scooter Dust at Scooter Dust and on the remix on YouTube, the only live alternative commentary for WWE PLEs, and on the Smoking Dragons Twitch stream as well. For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.